Hi, dears. How's it going? All right. What is up? What is up? I'm going to do a quick card pull, and then I'm going to see if there's anything that comes to mind that I need to speak on deeper about that can support the message, okay? So let's just come into here and let's just put some love into these cards. Spirit, please help me find a message, the best message to support the collective for when this video will be posted. Let it come from a place of heart, of unity of everybody. Allow it to penetrate the souls of those who need it and facilitate the best, most fulfilling thing possible. Help me find the words to say and use me as a catalyst for this message. Thank you so much for everything. All right. Best message for the collective when I post this video. I feel like it's this one. All right. Y'all ready? The Weaver. That's a beautiful card. The sword, the hands, beautiful. Well, I'm gonna go get the book for this so that I can read it, and then I'm gonna get into it. So give me a second. So I have like an idea of it, but I would rather take a look in the book and then come from there. It's from the ether. So this is higher than the normal, where we may be sitting at the moment, as far as our awareness within the 3D. And so to me, it seems like this message is coming from, it'll be a later date. So it's, you might be receiving this message post, or pre something that comes up in your life, pre a change or a experience that you may be going through. Okay, so it may not resonate right now. This might be something that resonates a little bit after you see this, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me read this. The Weaver. The Weaver is the master of their destiny. This deck is named the Threads of Fate because each one of us has thousands of threads that, when combined, weave the fabric of our life. We can braid, nurture, or sever any strand at any time, and in doing so, we are the Weaver. This card urges you to take inventory of all the threads active within your life at the moment. What needs to happen moving forward? Which ones need to grow stronger? Which ones need to be cut? What actions can you take to tend the threads of your fate. Ooh. That is a good one. Okay. So there is a part of me that is, there's a message that's coming right now. It's coming. So I have told people in the past, as a matter of lesson, that we are all following this red string of fate, this innate connector of our life, and we ourselves are the red string. All the other elements of said weaving is parts of ourselves that are being enmeshed, okay, from our outside world. And so oftentimes what can happen is, in the process of picking up these new threads and integrating them into our red thread, we can have threads that are too weak. We can have threads that break off and that are the wrong color, or and are the wrong shape, or the wrong texture, okay, for the picture and the weaving that we were trying to create, the blanket of our fate of rest, okay. And so, and sometimes our red thread, it, with the different parts of our weaving, if one part of our masterpiece that is our life starts to disintegrate, more pressure is being put on our red thread, which then thins the thread, okay? So it thins our self structure and our strength, but we can reformulate more strength within that thread by utilizing stronger threads in the totality of it, okay? And we need to be sure of what we're bringing in and what we're not bringing in, and what is good for us and what is not good for us. And we also need to be aware that sometimes our red thread gets mixed up, okay? So it starts to get knotted. So as we're picking up and following this red thread, because we have to thread it with the other threads, okay? So we're weaving ourselves with these other threads, okay? And so, like, you know, like those quilts where you have like the different, that's kind of like our life. I know a lot of people say it's like puzzles and stuff, but we're gonna go with the threads because, and I've used this theory in other things as well. This, it wouldn't be called a theory, it'd be called like what would it be called? I'm not very good with this, but it would be either way. If you know what it is, put it down below, the word I'm looking for, because it's, or the whatever it's called, synopsis, I don't know. It's over the head. Moving on to the red thread. So as you're picking up yourself and you're weaving with these other things, you may notice that on the floor, kind of idea, on the floor, the red thread is laying and there are knots, and you have to try to continue to follow the thread. But first you need to unknot the thread, the red thread, and you need to reorganize the thread below in order to continue to sew and weave in a way that formulates a beautiful picture. And what happens is, if you don't and you decide to just weave in that knot or whatever, it can end up creating more resistance on other parts, and that too can be the demise of your creation, which is your life. So what we have to do is we have to continue to understand ourselves. We have to continue to keep our thread coming cleanly and consistently, and following that thread, that red thread of truth and who we are, and making sure we keep it organized and clean, and knowing and taking care of that part, because sometimes what we're given is not always what we see. Okay, so we have to be prepared for these different threads that are interlocking with us, because when the weakness goes, we have to know that our self and our truth is strong enough to withstand that. Okay, does that make sense? So as the weaver, we also need to understand when we notice there is a thread and we are weaving it in, and then all of a sudden we notice this is a weak thread, we need to be willing to cut that thread before we start having multiple weak threads in the line of our weaving. And then when the weak threads break themselves versus us cutting the threads and removing the threads, it could be double time, right? Like double the resistance on, and it can also make holes in the picture. Okay, so then we would have to cut out all the strong threads in the process and redo it in order to redo the picture in a beautiful way. So we need to be really aware. We need to be paying attention to what we're threading in and handle it sooner than later, and not being afraid to take the opportunity while we can to do that, and then just reintegrate, if that makes sense. So being willing to see who we are, what we are, and meshing that into our picture without causing strain is very important. So I hope that was helpful. I just thought that I would do something different. So I love you guys. If that makes sense to you, and if you enjoyed that, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe and follow, and I will talk to y'all very soon. Okay? Bye.